Hey guys, Chris here, and I'm a Ukrainian Canadian. Today's July 3rd, 2022, and let's get to the news happening in Ukraine, shall we? So, the big news of the weekend were that the city of Belgorod was hit by missiles, a couple missile strikes that hit civilian quarters within the city. And this posed the question as to who did it. And in my humble and personal opinion, I believe this was the Russian false flag attack. What I have here is a video of the concerned citizens of the city of Belgorod in Russia asking the local governor about how they should keep calm and sleep at night following all these terrible events that happened. After 130 days of war with Ukraine, they're still wondering how did that happen. And I want to share this video before I share my opinions about this series of events that unfolded within the city. And there's subtitles at the bottom of the video. And you see this is the local governor here, and he's telling people are asking how we should be sleeping at night. We have kids, I have a daughter at home. And he's trying to make them feel, more secure, feeling safe. And essentially in this video, he's also saying that I can't guarantee that this will never happen again because you understand the situation and people are all very concerned about what is happening. They don't understand. Surprisingly, even though it's been over 4 months of a full-scale war with Ukraine, these people are still clueless as to what is happening. I'm not going to show up, it's the end of the video, but again, it just shows the lack of intelligence that exists in Russia due to the sheer propaganda that the Russians are fed by the government. And there's no critical thinking. I am sure there's a lot of Russians that understand completely what is happening. But the reality is the majority of the Russian people, all they see is the information that the government gives them, the Russian government gives them. And, this is what we have is people that are, acting clueless and they don't understand what is happening. And this is why I believe that truly this was a false flag attack by Russia within the city of Belgorod to, first of all, instill the sense of people need to get together and we're fighting a common enemy type of feeling, right? And also because I think Russia is preparing the Russian people, the government is preparing the Russian people for a full-scale mobilization or some sort of mobilization. We've heard all the news that Russia's lost so many soldiers. Right now, the Ukrainian staff, army staff is saying that Russia's lost 36,000 soldiers. That is dead, right? And the wounded, the missing in action, that is still unaccounted for, but that is usually a ratio of three times more, right? So for every dead soldier, you have 3 that are either wounded or missing in action. So that is a lot. And so there are about 100,000 soldiers that are just incapable of fighting anymore. And Russia is missing that support, right? This refill of soldiers that they're missing. They need a constant supply of that. And so that's why I believe that this false flag attack was some sort of way for Russia, the government, to sort of position the people back into the state that we need to do everything we can to destroy Ukraine. I'm going to go to the army and I'm going to fight them. However, what we're seeing here is from the videos that I saw, because there's a lot of them, the people are really scared. I don't think they want to go to war. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, this just shows the sheer cluelessness and carelessness that the people have. Like they don't realize that there's literally a war happening. They've been shelling Kharkiv, Kiev, Odessa, killing hundreds, thousands of people. For them, it's just my own window was shattered. Oh, it was very scary at night. Well, too bad you're literally killing thousands of innocent civilians in Ukraine. So I could give less of a crap. Anyways, in other news, this comes from Ukrainian sources, so to be confirmed if true or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. Russian factories refusing to repair military equipment damaged in Ukraine. Oh, that's a problem. And the important, very fascinating paragraph that I read, I believe it was somewhere around here. Anyways, in this article, it said that they were refusing to repair it because they're missing essential pieces to repair them. And actually, there was a few generals that were arrested because they were selling off trucks, army trucks and pieces and things like that. So these factories in Russia are literally unable to repair anything. They're giving a mission, an objective that you need to repair this amount of tanks or BMP-1s or whatever, and they just can't because they don't have the pieces. Everything is stolen, everything is missing, or they just can't get those pieces because they're on full-on sanctions. So this again is terrible news. Russia will never be able to fight to the level that they've been able to fight in this war. Once this is all over, Russia's going to be within, I don't even know to what kind of military could compare them to, because they're going to lose pretty much everything they have. So again, this just proves that Russia is, after this war, is going to be incapable of having any power or influence, geopolitically speaking, into any other countries, right? So this is why Putin is going all in. He realized that, he needs to prove his strength right now, right? It doesn't matter how much it's going to cost. He needs to prove himself that he's strong right now, because if he loses that, he's not going to be able to rebuild his Russia, his army. The confidence of the people is going to be completely gone. So in other news, this is from the Russian Orthodox Church and their clown Kirill, the Patriarch, that the head of their church, essentially saying that Russia has never done anything wrong to anyone. The world is turning against it out of pure hatred, envy, and indignation. Says the man who's literally using or friends with Putin because of the money and the corruption that stems within the Russian Orthodox Church, right? If you guys haven't seen the pictures of I don't remember his last name, but Kirill, he literally is wearing like $1 million watches, or super expensive watches, only riding in the most expensive convoys possible. There's even pictures of him hanging out on yachts somewhere in Italy. Like, this guy is a full fake. He's a fake, and Putin put him there because he needs buddies that can control, again, the Russian Orthodox Church. It's also a method of brainwashing the people. And the church is very, very influential in Russia. Even in Ukraine, to this day, they've managed to really influence a lot of Ukrainians. And so, right, this is why you have to take whatever he says with a grain of salt. Even any churches, for that matter, as important as they may be, they're cults. And so this is probably the worst cult that you can be in, is the Russian Orthodox Church. Sadly, that's the situation where the Russian Orthodox Church is telling all of their followers that what Russia is doing is great. Even here in Canada, I wouldn't be surprised if you go to one of their churches, and I live close to one, they're probably spewing the same bullcrap to their people, that they're not doing anything wrong, or Russia is just this pure society trying to cleanse themselves from evil and the world. And that's very scary. It's very scary because it's not only a war that's happening here in Europe, but it's also all throughout the world, right? The Russian church exists everywhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're saying the same type of propaganda where I live in Canada or in the United States or anywhere else for that matter. This is pictures of the aftermath of Zminy Island, Snake Island. The Russians, by a gesture of goodwill, as you guys remember my video a couple of days ago, left the island, right? Their objectives were met. Now let's see what type of objectives they were able to accomplish. Oh, it seems like there's a lot of smoke coming out of this island, a lot of destroyed houses. Oh, I'm not really sure what that is, but that does not look good. There's a helicopter with a bunch of smoke and craters and stuff. Oh, what do we have here? This is a Panzer system. It seems quite heavily damaged, and some radar system in the back, and a lot of smoke. So I guess the objectives weren't so positive, right? Anyways, I'm making fun of it, but it's a clear, defeat of Russia within this island. They weren't unable to control this island, and they had to retreat because they lost so much. They lost, again, I'm going to repeat, patrol ships, Panzer systems, surface-to-air missile systems, helicopters, human lives, right? They threw so much on this island that they've lost, right? And that's the only way you're going to defeat Russia is eventually when they realize that they just can't get anything because they're getting obliterated and they cannot achieve their objectives. That's the only way you're going to stop them, not through negotiations, peace talks, because they're going to come back like a zombie wave. Okay, last video and news before we head to the map is another spectacular Ukrainian HIMARS strike on a Russian munition dump deep inside occupied Ukraine. So this is probably, oh yeah, it says in Snizhne, Donetsk Oblast. So let's see the how it looks like. We're not going to watch the entire video, but that looks pretty terrible to me. Yeah, that is quite something. So we are seeing the HIMARS being super effective. I think the last, what was it, like over a week now, week and a half, that we've had the announcement that Ukraine officially received the HIMARS systems. And since then, I've heard reports every day of Ukraine striking ammo depots, whether it be in Russia, deep inside Ukrainian territory, thus Luhansk and Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk, right, as we're seeing here, we're hitting everything. And there's also reports today that we've hit the Melitopol airfield. If you guys don't remember, in Melitopol, which is in Zaporizhia Oblast, I'll show you in the map. There's a very important airfield that is being used by the Russian army to conduct their operations all throughout Ukraine, right? Helicopter missions, airstrike missions, even sending missiles probably. Oh, and look at that strike. That looks like a firework. Happy Russia Day. Yep. We need more of that. This is what's going to stop Russia. Remember what happened during the first phase of the war where Ukraine hit every single logistical line of Russia in Kiev, Sumy. They were crippled. They could not conduct their operations. So what we're doing here is very, very good. And let's look at the map. So this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. You guys are probably aware again that Severodonetsk and Lysychansk have been taken over by the Russian army. We have retreated, and so we're falling back into more defensible positions. This is the correct thing to do. Lysychansk, I assumed wrong. I thought that maybe the Ukrainian army would defend it because it has a better position, but we were unable to hold the sides, and thus it was too risky for us to defend here, which would have been great, but our lines on the sides are collapsing. So I think it was the right decision to move out of the city. It's not worth it, and defend Slovyansk and Kramatorsk. Essentially, as I've said, you know, it's pretty pathetic because it took over 2 months for Russia to take this area. So there's nothing to be proud about because they've lost so much in this little adventure, their little campaign saying that they've won major victory. But in reality, we're crippling Russia. We're crippling Russia. They're incapable of, you know, if they're gaining this within 2 months, and we've already worked hard to defend, create Slavyansk and Kramatorsk as very defensible cities, I can't see them push through anytime soon past those 2 cities. And now we have the important HIMARS systems. We have the Panzerhaubitze 2000 or 200, which are super effective artillery systems. The French Caesars, we're on a whole different game right now. And Russia is scared. The Russians are scared because now we are capable of hitting them anywhere here, right? And so that's why Russia is now resorting to these false flag attacks in Belgorod, the first piece of news I was talking about. This is the city here. They try to make it look like it's Ukraine that struck them with Tochka U missiles, but we barely have any left. And they're saying that we threw like, 3 or 6 of them at some random civilian housing. Like these Tochka U missiles, if we still have them, we're not going to waste them on cities. We're going to waste them in important, objectives such as ammo depots or bases, army bases, right? So Russia is definitely feeling threatened, and thus they resort to false flag attacks. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they continue doing more and more of them all around the border of Ukraine. And the city of Melitopol, as I've said in my previous announcement, it was hit here. This is the airbase, and it was hit by the HIMARS systems most likely today or yesterday night, which pretty much destroyed everything there, almost everything. And the people and the soldiers were actually surprised how accurate they were. They literally hit every single objective they were supposed to hit. Nothing was hit around the civilian quarters. So that is fantastic. So that's that, guys. Nothing else really. Kherson is still sort of contested area. We're trying to push a little bit more towards Chornobaivka, but it's tough when we are needing into. We need more of these systems to be able to push more. So that's it, guys. I'm hoping that you had a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like my content if you do so, and subscribe. Take you guys, and I'm going to wish you a great day. Until next time.